So, hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing well. So, today we are doing the reading that is going to look at the past that you're releasing and also at the futures or what's coming next. It seems kind of appropriate since it is a new year time. Even though it doesn't matter, you can take a look at this spread or this reading whenever you find it, whenever it finds you. Just take a moment, connect with the images and choose the group that feels right. And I will see you at your reading. So hello to those who chose group number 1. So the first position is the past that is being released, and we have these 4 cards. So this is about what you are ready to release, or what is ready to live your life now. So it's a kind of something that has run its course. Perhaps even who you had to be and who you no longer need to be. So let's take a look. We have Daughter of Swords. So this is like a page of swords, and we see these blues and grays and, well, grapes. Okay, maybe it resonates with someone. Grapes. So we see these hues in blue and gray, and this upward sword, and the movement of air is indicated with this kind of veil that is moving, and with these layers that we see. So this speaks of mental movement and vigilance and quick perception, and also it can be about self-defense. So she's ready in this pose with the sword. So perhaps you have been ready for things to come and you were preparing yourself to respond to them. Perhaps you were also entangled in some kind of strenuous communication or receiving messages that were also disturbing, and you had to be very careful of and mindful of what you say and what you do, and you needed to observe your words, or you were also the target of some harsh words. So your mind was very alert, perhaps anticipating conflict or to be misunderstood. And then, so you are releasing this over-analysis and alertness, and perhaps the need to defend your truth. And with these cool colors, we see some kind of emotional distance, this blue and gray. So perhaps you needed to distance yourself, or you were experiencing this distance from somebody, but this is no longer needed. This is something that you are leaving in the past. And then we have the card Venus in Libra, that you see this beautiful couple standing and looking at each other. So we have these very warm reds and golden colors, and we see also this chess structure on the floor. So like a board for playing chess, which again shows a kind of strategic mind. And this is Venus in Libra card. So this is about relationships and also about diplomacy and being tactful. Venus and Libra are also about being fair, being just. So perhaps you were defining your self-worth through the need of approval. And also, of course, it is a very clear archetype of a relationship. So perhaps you were playing a peacemaker, or you were trying to adjust to keep the peace. And so with you are releasing perhaps this need to harmonize everything, or to be in harmony in order to feel safe. Maybe you are releasing a certain type of relationship, and perhaps this is perhaps the need, releasing the need to define yourself through a relationship. So Venus in Libra can be very dependent on the mirroring herself through others. So, and this can, of course, also provoke many defense mechanisms in you. So this is something that you're leaving behind. And also, perhaps, literally, you are leaving behind a certain relationship or a certain type of relating to others. And of course, with the thief energy that we see, this can mean that you were giving too much energy to other people, or people were taking advantage of you. So you were losing energy, perhaps, through relationships or conflicts in relationships. So this Daughter of Swords together with Venus can be connected with words exchanged, even harsh words exchanged in a relationship. And then with the card of intuition, the Selene card, again we have these soft colors and blue colors and whites. So Selene is about deep intuition and receptivity. So perhaps you were in kind of living in your inner world and absorbing a lot of emotional experiences and waiting for kind of certainty, and you were not perhaps acting too much. You are not going out there, but you were more on the receptive side or just waiting. So this is a very gentle energy, this moonlight, this Selene, but it can be passive. So Selene, of course, she is the ancient Greek goddess of the moon. And in Greek myth, she is a living presence. It's not just a metaphor. She is a conscious presence that moves across the night sky. And she is a sister of Helios and Eos. So Helios and Eos present conscious light. Eos is like dawn. So they form a triad, a cosmic triad. Helios, like the sunlight. So this is the conscious light. Eos is the dawn. So it's a kind of transition. And then Selene is the inner light and the night and the reflection, inner reflection. So she governs these cycles, lunar cycles, dreams and sleep and emotional rhythms. And so she exists in stillness and in silence. So perhaps it's quite obvious, in fact, that you already possess the truth and a very strong intuition about your situation, but perhaps you were holding it deep inside and not expressing it fully, or just expressing it perhaps sometimes, but expecting to be misunderstood or not heard or seen. So this really guided you into defense mechanisms, as we can see in that Daughter of Swords. So it shows that now perhaps you're ready to step into a more active phase and not allow others to take or feed on your energy. And so now your intuition has matured, and now you need to integrate it. And of course, again, with the Thief card, we see these dark tones and shadows and secrecy. So this is this energetic loss. Something was taken from you, perhaps time or emotional investment, even vital energy. And so now what you're releasing is these unequal exchanges. So perhaps boundary violations, or perhaps you were giving more than it was returned. So now it's about really taking back your energy, and don't allow it to be drained. And perhaps you're also leaving behind this people-pleasing identity, or too much identification with relationships in your life, or depending on the way the other people see you. And then we have the second position, which is about the lesson that you keep. So what is staying with you as a wisdom? So what the past taught you. And here we have the Love card, the Teacher card, Five of Cups, and then we have this separation and cutting out, so kind of cut down card. So of course, the love is all about, we see these beautiful warm golds and browns and green. This, of course, relates to the heart chakra. So you have been learning about love and about kindness and about opening your heart. So whatever happened, you are keeping your capacity for love without overgiving. And with the teacher card, so this is ability to communicate and so transfer knowledge. So, and the shadow aspect is manipulation or destructive patterns. So this is about discernment. This is about what it means to express your truth, what it means to guide but not control or manipulate. So either it is you dropping the pattern of manipulating, or you are not allowing yourself to be manipulated anymore. So you have absolutely acquired a lot of wisdom in this in the past, and you are also learning about your own authority. So about teaching and guiding, keeping your voice, but without dominating others or allowing yourself to be dominated by someone. So perhaps you literally had some kind of connection with a person who was a kind of authority for you. And perhaps you have learned how to communicate and keep your voice, even with someone who may literally be your mentor or guide or teacher, or you have learned to express yourself more clearly and show what you learned. So now you can also guide and teach others. And then, of course, we have the Five of Cups. So Five of Cups, of course, is the card of loss and disappointment, and we see this figure by the table and with the spilled or broken cups. So this is about acknowledging grief and disappointment and loss. So you are entering into a phase where perhaps you will have to go through very dark emotions, and in fact, this is part of the feeling system. This is part of our feeling body. So we started the reading with the moon, with the Selene, which is all about inner feeling. And then we have the love card and now the Five of Cups. So strong feelings present in this reading. And it's all about emotional honesty with yourself. And so whatever was lost or whatever you had to leave behind was meant to stay there. So it's about learning. So Five of Cups is not only about losing or regretting, it's about educating yourself. It's about being more thorough, more honest with yourself. This is Mars in Scorpio card, so it goes very deep. And of course, we see this bowed figure that shows grief. In fact, she is fully feeling things, not avoiding them. So, in fact, what you are embracing, so what you have learned, that you have your own values, and even if you lose something or someone, what truly matters will remain. And also, these dark colors, in fact, are not just about despair or grief, they are about depth. So this is a kind of confronting your own feelings, not just keeping everything perhaps in harmony or in kind of beautiful frame, but it's about going deep and learning some deep, important emotional lessons. So whatever was meant to be lost, it's better to discontinue, and whatever remains, it will continue. And so whatever has completed its purpose is going to stay in the past, so don't hold on to anything. But mostly, what you're learning here is being honest with your feelings and acknowledging that perhaps you were disconnected from yourself, or perhaps you didn't allow yourself to feel deeply because you were afraid to disrupt the harmony. So this is actually a very promising and deep card, showing that you did not numb yourself and you did not harden, but you are processing your feelings and learning from them. And of course, we have this cut down card of the separation, which also says stop the pattern. And so you are this, and it's like it's positioned below the teacher. So you are learning about boundaries. You are learning that you have to stop repeating a certain kind of pattern in relationships. Also, perhaps you need to stop explaining things. Or also you're learning when it is time to stop engaging and trying. So sometimes it's best to be non-participant. So to just cut the participation, to not participate in some kind of dramas or entanglements. And this is how we end certain patterns. We just stop participating in them. And so this is about learning the skill of ending cycles clearly and putting your boundaries ahead and respecting your own boundaries. So the lesson that you keep is this love with boundaries and wisdom with integrity, and also endings without drama. And you carry forward this kindness and in discernment, in authority. You have learned the lessons, you have learned emotional honesty, and now you have the ability to cut patterns cleanly and clearly. So this is kind of moving into a more mature way of relating with clarity and respecting yourself. And then we have the third position, which is about what's coming. So the new energy and new direction. So what is unfolding next? It can be an event or just a shift in inner thinking or inner position. So we have the cards, Two of Swords, and we have the Lenormand, the Clover, and then we have the Shadow Queen and Old School. So we see this blues and grays also in the Old School and also in the Two of Swords in a way, in the Shadow Queen. So we have kind of a kind of more subdued energy, a kind of calm energy. So it's especially the Two of Swords it's about taking a pause that brings clarity. This is Moon in Libra card. So again, it's about keeping the harmony. So there is a part of you that wants to keep the peace. And we see this kind of, we see these two people engaged in a kind of stalemate, in a conflict. So Two of Swords is keeping the peace, being locked perhaps even in an indecision. But this is about mental balance. It's not a confused position. It's a kind of stepping back and taking a look in a neutral way. And it kind of shows that you don't want to react from the old triggers. So you don't want to, as the Old School card is also saying to us, you don't want to replay the events or go into your outdated patterns, and also but again, in a way, you can still keep your peace and not react. So what is coming, that you internally are emotionally detaching from old conflicts and developing this inner clarity and this discernment, observing things and allowing them to unfold before you make any decisions. And then we have the Clover card from the Lenormand, and we see this. It's a kind of a fairy, because it's a fairy Lenormand. And this shows a kind of relief and lightness and a new opportunity. And so definitely a lighter emotional atmosphere is coming into your life. All that grief and sorrow and darkness from the Five of Cups is now transforming, and you will be meeting meaningful opportunities. And perhaps this is also because you are allowing things to unfold, they will come, the opportunities, more easily into your life. So it also reminds you that don't take things too seriously and just be open to finally get the opportunities you deserve and that you earned through struggle. And then we have this Shadow Queen, which is about, again, knowledge and manipulation in her darker side. So again, we have a card that reminds us of learning and acquiring knowledge. So you are a very perceptive person, in fact. You're mentally very sharp, and perhaps you've been holding back and not expressing this wisdom fully, or perhaps you were expressing it through some conflicts, as we had this Daughter of Swords at the beginning of the reading, which can be about mental conflicts and even quarrels with others. But now you are this Shadow Queen. So you are someone who has a very deep understanding. And also the Selene card, the intuition card, was telling us that. And very interestingly, all these very deep intuitive cards, emotional cards, are appearing in the same position. Actually, they're always the third card in the row. So we had Selene, then we had Five of Cups, and now we have the Shadow Queen, which kind of reflects the Five of Cups, which is about shadow that is being brought into awareness. So whatever is happening or was happening in your life, you had to confront certain shadows, or perhaps some certain patterns of behaving in your relationships or dealings with others, which can also be perhaps manipulative or just controlling. So now this is all being illuminated, so you're gaining more awareness of where perhaps you were giving too much power away, or perhaps where you tried to control others. Or this can also be connected with the feeling of shame. Perhaps there are certain aspects of yourself that you don't accept or you feel shameful about. Perhaps you feel regret about certain ways that you behaved, or just certain ways that you are. And this is telling you that you need to integrate your darker parts, because this is the only way to become whole and complete. So this whole reading is taking you into a more sovereign, authoritative position. You're becoming this authority for yourself, and you are disconnecting from old patterns. And these old patterns, in fact, could be very, very even toxic at times, very destructive, even though you wanted always to keep the peace in relationships. So what is coming is the new opportunity, as the Clover is saying, to start over with more emotional maturity, with more awareness, being more illuminated about what the destructive patterns could be. And at the same time, just stepping out of them. So whatever perhaps was destructive in your life or your relationships, now it's time to release it. And at the same time, also integrate your shadow parts, because you are also a Shadow Queen. And if you don't embrace it in yourself, you're going to meet this energy outward, on the outside. So other people will play it out for you. So this reading is actually quite interesting. So for those who chose the group number 1, it's very, very deep reading. You are integrating some deep aspects of yourself and taking more control and power over your life in a positive way, in a disengaged way. You're disentangling from any kind of dominating or controlling or manipulative patterns in your life or your relationships, regardless of who was doing them. Probably both parties. This is usually the case. So don't be manipulative and don't allow yourself to be manipulated, and take your power back. And then we have the final position, which is about guidance. So this is telling you how to move forward and stay aligned, and also to step into what is coming with some clarity and intention. And we have the crowning from the Rose Oracle and new moon in Sagittarius. Focus on the positive, and this kind of reflects the overall message of the reading, which was in fact going deep and encountering your inner shadow and grief and loss and inner demons. But now we have this beautiful new moon in Sagittarius telling you to start with a clear and positive intention. And of course, the crowning is all about rebirth and initiation. And it also says a seat at the table. And very interestingly, it's funny because we had that 5 of Cups where the woman was sitting at the table grieving and being lost in her emotions. So now we have again a seat at the table, which of course has a completely different meaning. It's about being invited to participate, being invited to be present. So you are approved, you're recognized, and now this is all about claiming your place, claiming your seat at the table. And of course, we see this beautiful image of birth. So the guidance is to just step forward and don't shrink yourself. Step out of your shadow without shame, without guilt. So integrate it, be the queen with all your shadows, because we cannot fully step forward unless we accept the shadow parts of ourselves. And if we don't accept them, they will appear in the form of situations or other people. So now it's time for you to trust that you're ready. And this is already happening. This initiation is already beginning. You are crowning, you're being born. And just allow this new birth to come and take your place, take your seat at the table. And of course, with this beautiful new moon in Sagittarius, we see this crescent moon slowly becoming visible, because the new moon is actually astronomically it happens when the moon is between the earth and the sun. So the side of the moon facing us is not illuminated, so the sky looks dark. So the moon is present but unseen. So because of this invisibility, the new moon represents this seed or potential and a beginning, and that everything is possible. So when the new moon comes as guidance, it says, don't rush or don't force anything. Just set your mindset. Just set your intention. And of course, in Sagittarius, it's all about meaning and faith and moving forward, being optimistic. So you are being invited to trust the future. It's unfolding beautifully for you because you have gone through very dark lessons, pain and loss and grief, and perhaps even self-denial. But now you are stepping into this new, powerful you, and you are receiving positive opportunities. So if you have been waiting also to be given a new opportunity, you will be lucky. You will have your seat at the table. You will receive what belongs to you. So allow yourself to step into this new era with optimism and joyfully accept what is coming, because what is coming is beautiful and empowering you. I hope this resonated, and good luck. And hello to those who chose group number 2. So, for the first position, which is about what you're releasing, so what is ready to live your life now. So we have some interesting cards. So the first one is 3 of coins, and we see these hands working together, creating patterns or like putting pieces together. So it can mean that you did in fact put some pieces together, that you have completed some phase in your life, and you have also proved your value. Maybe you were working hard or building things. So this is Mars in Capricorn card. So it's a very determined, very successful card. This is showing that you have your inner soldier on alert. So you are ready to build, to make big things, to construct. So you did something very valuable. You were very present and invested. And you can see these hands putting the pieces together. So literally what you have proved, there is no need to prove anything more. So you have completed a certain lesson, you prove your worth through effort, and perhaps you felt responsible for many things or for outcomes that weren't even yours. So you showed a lot of dedication and work. So now there is no more need to prove your value. You have already mastered everything and showed your talents and value. And then right next to it, we have the card that shows the coffin with a figure lying inside, surrounded by roses. And it carries the signs of Cancer and Moon and Pisces and Neptune. So we know that, of course, Cancer is ruled by the Moon and Pisces are ruled by Neptune. So this is a very deep and emotional card. So Moon in Cancer is all about attachment and nurturing, holding on and creating a home. And Pisces with Neptune, it's about empathy and merging and dissolving boundaries, but it can also mean a big self-sacrifice and losing things, as well as completing, because the Pisces are the last sign and they dissolve everything. The whole zodiac dissolves and it's getting ready for a new beginning. So this can mean that something that you held very dear to your heart has now dissolved and you need to bury it, lay it to rest. So this is a very deep emotional archetype. So perhaps your identity was shaped through feeling and caring and nurturing and protecting, and you were holding space and very much you were attuned to what others needed. And now you are releasing this identification with being able to absorb moods and pain and responsibility. So perhaps your sensitivity was being overused, and perhaps you were just too deeply immersed in some emotional situation, which has now come to the end, and it can also bring this great release, this psychological release of an old identity. So what you are releasing, in a way, it's perhaps a certain love that refuses to let go, and now it is time to let go. Perhaps you are stuck in a kind of emotional plateau or stasis, and this prevented growth. And perhaps you were devoted to something or someone, and that kept you inside this coffin. And the roses, in fact, show that your heart was never closed. You were always devoted and open, but now it is time perhaps to set some boundaries and remain still and allow things that need to go away to dissolve. Because the coffin, in fact, represents withdrawal, emotional withdrawal and retreat into safety. So perhaps there was someone in your life or some situation where you didn't get much emotionally because the other person was protecting themselves, or perhaps you were living inwardly instead of outwardly. So it's a kind of emotional hibernation. So the coffin is like a womb, and it's like a shelter. And this is very much linked to Moon in Cancer, because Cancer seeks safety and protection and enclosure. And with the coffin, we get exactly this. And the Moon rules also memories and the past. So perhaps you were protecting yourself, or you were emotionally very guarded. And perhaps you were also sacrificing a lot with the Pisces and Neptune, losing yourself emotionally, or just escaping things instead of engaging, even though you have done enough with the Three of Pentacles. So you were really investing yourself in certain things, but emotionally you were not satisfied. Emotionally things were not growing and developing. So it is time now to release this phase, perhaps where you were shutting down emotionally, or you were withdrawing emotionally to survive. Perhaps you were very productive, but inwardly you were perhaps avoiding certain pain. And now it's time to release this and dissolve it, to release this emotional paralysis and hiding feelings or memories. And then we have, of course, the Demeter card. So Demeter is the ancient Greek goddess of fertility. And she also represents cycles of life and loss. So she is the mother, and she represents the sustenance, the growth, physical and emotional. And her central myth is the loss of her daughter, Persephone. So when Persephone was married and taken to the underground, she was married to Hades. The Demeter withdraws. She was so hurt that she withdrew, and that's why also the earth was left with no sustenance, and this caused winter. So only when Persephone was allowed to return to the mother, life resumed, and this was happening in cycles. So Demeter and Hades shared Persephone. So when Persephone went to her husband in the underground, the earth went into winter. And when Persephone returned to her mother, Demeter, there was spring again. So this is a kind of cycle of loss and reconnection. And it is teaching us that love must allow separation. Otherwise, life itself withers away. So this is the mother love that can hold on too tightly. And perhaps now for you, you were living perhaps once this role of the giver and sustainer, and you were holding everything together. And now you need to release this holding on, and perhaps too much devotion, or just taking on too much responsibility, and just allow that love and nurturing must follow natural cycles where we connect and then also separate in order to fulfill our needs. So if there was any exhaustion emotionally, perhaps because of overgiving and perhaps even of too much control and holding on, now it's time to release this energy. And we have the card of the main female as well, again showing the female energy regardless of the sex that you are. So we see this feminine identity. Perhaps you occupied this role of emotional center. because the female energy is the one that grounds and stabilizes and represents nurturing and continuity. So perhaps, again, this is just reinforcing the idea that you are releasing this role of being this emotional axis for others and the role of the strong one, because we see this main female in this very dignified and strong position. So you are releasing this role of responsibility and just perhaps taking on too much and thus wanting to prove your value. So this is not about rejecting love or sensitivity. It's about rebalancing. So don't self-sacrifice. Don't erase yourself in order to show love. So then we have the position 2. This is about the lesson that you are keeping. So this is showing what the past taught you. So something that is now like giving you an inner knowing, an inner resource, inner wisdom that you learned from your past. And the first card that we see is related to the first chakra. We see these beautiful red colors pertaining to the first chakra, and it says physical health, vitality, and strength and balance. So we have this human body in a very grounded posture. And so the core lesson is to respect the body and also to respect any fatigue or exhaustion, tension that you may feel. So all that is about giving you a certain kind of message. So you are learning to value your physical signals and understand what your body is telling you, so you're no longer pushing through. Perhaps some of you really had a problem with physical health, which is now going to be restored. Perhaps you were too exhausted. You were just giving so much and working so much that you really literally exhausted yourself to the point of being ill. So it's very important that you keep in touch with your body and take care of your physical health as well. And with the visionary card, we see this, capacity to envision what is not yet visible. So again, this is about integrity. So you learned to carry your vision, to trust your vision, and also that you need to adjust your needs and to your own needs and not to the needs of others. So just it's about staying true to what you see. So perhaps you already saw many, you were aware of many things that were happening in the past. Perhaps you had a very deep understanding already, but you were not following it. Perhaps you sacrificed it, you gave it away. So now the lesson is about valuing your vision and integrity. And so not betraying it, not betraying yourself in order to be valued or understood. So stay true to what you see and stay true to what you understand and know, and don't compromise. And of course, with the 9 of coins, again, this just reinforces the idea of self-sufficiency and worth, and also the physical health. So we see this very comfortable figure, and she is like just accepting all the gifts that are flowing and falling into her lap. So your growth gave you a lot. You've learned a lot, and you are a very valuable person, even perhaps money-wise, financial-wise, or work-wise. You have many talents, so trust in your own resources and be comfortable with being independent. So you are taking the lesson of self-reliance and taking care of yourself and trusting your inner understanding. And then we have this coffee cup which is about meeting and talking and building friendships. So this is about human connection, and the lesson is that you can just have very beautiful connections. So intimacy doesn't need to be intense or dramatic, and this is about valuing perhaps small genuine exchanges and connecting without having to do too much or having to hold everything together. It's about taking a cup of coffee. It's about enjoying the moment as it is. So perhaps you need to learn that not every bond or connection needs to be deep or transformative, and that you can just simply enjoy simple chit chat and human connection. And this also promises that your shelter, your emotional coffin that you have built, is going to be released, and you will be able to reconnect with people, with valuable people again. So you are healing, your body is healing, your mind is healing, and you are entering into much simpler and beautiful human connections. And then we have the third position, which is about what's coming. So the energy and experience that you are entering next. So the new dynamic that you are stepping into. And the first card that we see is the Lovers from Botticelli Tarot. So, and we see these beautiful blue and skin tones and water showing this harmony and intimacy. So this can, of course, indicate that you are entering into a connection, into a relationship, or that you are reconnecting with someone. And we see this beautiful desire to be together. And also, these two figures, they're flying above the ocean. So they are above all these unconscious impulses. They're almost like these heavenly bodies. So this connection is really beautiful, almost like ethereal, and it shows that you are choosing to go beyond what was pulling you down into unconscious patterns and repetitions before. And so perhaps this is indeed this union that is awaiting you, or you are getting what you really longed for a long time. This can be a fulfillment of a long, long desired wish, and choosing a different style in relating and as well as going through life. And with the bear that we see from the Lenormand, we have this power and protection and resources. It can be a dominance, very dominating energy, the bear, but here it is about healthy power. It stands next to the Rainbow Prince card. So this can literally mean that a prince is coming into your life. So a different person, a different kind of relationship, which will be a fulfillment of your desires, and where you will be able to share power equally. It can also mean that a very strong person is coming into your life. The bear can also mean a mother figure, which relates back to the Demeter that we saw in the previous position. So you are transforming the old way of relating, perhaps being overbearing, into a healthy power. So still we have this notion of power happening, but this paired with Lovers and Rainbow Prince, it shows healthy power, setting boundaries, having strong boundaries, and also being emotionally and materially self-sufficient, which was already shown in the previous positions. So this also shows that a very supportive person or situation is coming into your life. So you will be very much supported and without being controlled. And also it can mean, because in the Rainbow Prince, we also see that he is holding this rays of rainbow, and the rainbow symbolizes connection with the divine. So it can be a spiritual breakthrough and also literally a wish fulfillment. So finally you're getting the treasure that lies beyond the rainbow. So a very beautiful connection is forming, or a very beautiful fulfillment of your desires. And then we have also this addiction card. It says codependent, control, obsession. So this is in fact reflecting what was already released. This is the themes that you have already worked on, and this card lies below the Lovers and below this trio of beautiful cards, like relating to that ocean of unconscious impulses that you are leaving behind with a more conscious life and more conscious decisions and relationships. So you have confronted these shadows, and now it's time to let them be, but still acknowledge them, because whatever is not acknowledged will come to haunt you, either in another person or in a situation in your life. So these codependent patterns are losing their grip, and you are attaching in a more healthy way with more autonomy. So you are breaking the chains of obsession. But of course, it's still present, and it's lying there below the Bear card. So these two cards can talk about control and domination. So these impulses may still be present in you or in your environment, and you just need to, as the Lovers card suggests, choose to fly over and beyond and above this strong pull of the tide of the ocean of these magnetic, obsessive, controlling impulses. So now it's time for you to go beyond that and to choose the rainbow and a healthy connection with strong boundaries, because you have come in touch with your personal power and resilience. So nothing, in fact, can shake you. And you are entering a phase or relationships where love and power can coexist. You can be a strong, independent person, yet still beautifully connecting with the other and fulfilling your desires. So now the phase is coming where you will not be losing yourself, and where you will not be controlling anymore, and just enjoying the love and connection that is on its way. And then we have the final two cards that show what is your guidance and perhaps even your blessing, and how to work with this. And we have the sacred waters, which also carry the message of nourishment and health and self-care, which echo the first chakra that we had, the physical health card. So absolutely take care of your health, and if there was a need for some kind of medical issue to be resolved, it is going in a very good direction. But you need to take care of it, and you need to be aware of it. And also we have what it says is rest. So a lot of rest, a lot of being and healing with yourself, and this is a kind of emotional and physical restoration that is coming. So this is not about this surface rest. It's a kind of rest that reaches deep down into your body and nervous system, and also heals you emotionally. So these sacred waters are like a cleansing agent that heals you naturally when you stop pushing. So again, we have the message of not being too overbearing, too controlling, not being too anxious, but be aware of your worth, be aware of your value, what you have already created and what you will be creating. The whole reading was also reflecting material values. So if you were worried about money or finances, don't be, because this is also being taken care of. So whatever is that you were striving for, or perhaps being over anxious about it, is coming into a phase of relief and relaxation. So give yourself permission to soften and feel safe in slowing down, and just allow yourself to recover, because nothing will be taken away from you. And then we have also this strong card, new moon in Scorpio, go deeper. So this is about deep emotional honesty and truth. And this is Actually, this reflects that ocean and addiction and the chains and obsession energy that we met in the previous positions. And we also had in the first position the coffin, which relates to Scorpio, because Scorpio is related to death and some things being buried, and now they need to come out and be restored. So something very deep is happening with this group. You are uncovering perhaps even some secrets, uncovering something that was buried deeply, and now it's time to push it and bring it out in the open in order to heal it and restore the balance. So it's about meeting the truth, not avoiding it. And also, perhaps you need to name things that perhaps you were enduring silently inside. Now it's time to name them, to talk about them, to share them, and don't maintain stability at all costs. In the way that you bury yourself in the coffin. So we have this new moon, and this shows a new beginning. And you are going deep into your inner resources. So don't heal and transform everything. This is not happening overnight. It is happening slowly and gently when you rest. So just allow yourself to be replenished, and then trust whatever surfaces, and stay in this quiet and stay in your power. Again, with Scorpio, we have a power energy. This is reclaiming your power, reclaiming your presence, reclaiming your visibility, being valued, being appreciated, even rewarded for your efforts. So you have done enough. Now don't obsess over things. Don't try to control the situation. Rest, relax, and allow things to happen on their own, because they will, with great blessings and good fortune for you. So I hope this resonated, and I wish you good luck. Hello to those who chose group number 3. So we have the first position. This is about the past that is being released. So it talks about what is ready to live your life now. So what is being released and you no longer need it in your life, be it behavior patterns, mental convictions and beliefs, perhaps even past experiences that no longer serve their purpose. And we see Ace of Coins as the first card. So in fact, the whole pattern that we see in these cards talks about survival and control, and perhaps about suppressing your vitality and joy. So with the Ace of Coins, we see this beautiful coin in this green foliage, and the hand that is offering it. So this means that, so the Ace of Coins is about like a gift from the universe. Usually it is interpreted as a seed that needs to grow. So perhaps you were given some big opportunity, or you thought that it was a big opportunity. But since we have this Joker in the prison card next to this ace, it means that you have perhaps constricted your energy, or you were held back by circumstances or inner constraints. So maybe you were waiting for the right time to begin, or delaying, or perhaps you were too much clinging to security. So psychologically, Ace of Coins can represent a belief that you first need to guarantee everything, and that safety comes first, and that you need to be very, whatever you gain needs to be earned before it's received. So perhaps now it is time to get out of this prison, and we literally have this Joker in prison right next to it. Which is actually representing life force, which is held back by duty and rules. And then we have the Pan card next to it, which shows instinct and the desire and it relates to the Joker. So instinct and desire, which are suppressed. And so the Ace of Coins, in fact, it's like the first crack in this prison wall. And it says that you don't have to wait long to begin new things, or you don't need to constrict yourself, restrict yourself, punish yourself for wanting something. So you are meant to live and experience life fully with all the desires and all the wants and needs that you carry. And you need to let go of certain guilt or perhaps the fear of being punished for it. So the symbol on card, the Joker imprisoned card, also carries the astrological connotations of Saturn and Capricorn and Aquarius and Mars. So this is like about restrictions and rules, especially emphasized by Saturn and Capricorn. And then we have Mars in Aquarius, which is the energy of a rebel. So this is using your natural intelligence and truth to break out of your prison. It seems that you need to really push through and use your mental cleverness, as Aquarius is a very clever and mentally developed sign. You need to push against the limitations and the rules and perhaps duties and obligations that are now suffocating you. So there is a certain ability to disrupt this stagnation. And so with the Saturn, we see a lot of responsibility and self-control and the desire and the need to be responsible and serious. So perhaps you have become over-identified with this authority, with this kind of pressure to be always composed and hold everything together. Perhaps you became an adult too early and you carried responsibilities that weren't yours. So there is a certain kind of suppression of impulses, and perhaps you were struggling to stay safe or to survive. So this self-restraint and control has been taken too far. And now we have this trapped rebel, this Mars in jail, the Mars in Aquarius who wants freedom and individuality and expression. So there is this urge to break free. So your Joker, your inner humor, inner truth, inner rebel is not dead. He's just contained. So it may also come as in form of thoughts of, if I relax, things will fall apart, or if I am too much, I will be punished, or I cannot express my ideas because they will not be accepted, and I will be punished, or I will just lose control of things. So you have perhaps put yourself in a kind of self-imprisonment. And so this pattern has served its function. Perhaps you needed this structure once, and freedom felt dangerous, or you felt you had to be very serious and not playful. But now this prison is outdated. So you are releasing this over-discipline or guilt for wanting to be playful, or the fear to be spontaneous, or distrusting joy. And you are connecting to Pan, which in fact reflects the same energy as the Joker. Pan is about raw instinctual life force. And it's very similar to the Joker cards, who can be a very playful force. And it's like life gives you a Joker. Life gives you a chance. Like similar to the Ace energy. Ace is a kind of a Joker in the deck. So it's given from the heavens. It's a gift. So you were not using your gifts, or you were afraid to use them. And there was a certain kind of social restraint, or perhaps you were restricted by some authority or official or legal matters. And now you need to release this vitality. And also this will let the Joker out of prison, and you will be much more playful and take life much less seriously. So this structure, in whatever form it came, it may be a job, it may be some legal issues, or authority people or people in position who were just judging you or controlling you, this is now getting out of your life. And with the card, we have this card, unexpected income. So this is not just about luck, but it's about removing the blockage. It's very similar to the Ace of Coins, and actually we also see hands giving money. So perhaps you were literally restricted in the area of finances and money, or you were not valued, or you were imprisoned by somebody, by some authority who denied you better things in life, or you were literally punished for something that you wanted to create or do. Also perhaps you were investing into something that was not fruitful, or you felt you were losing energy and time or opportunities. So now this block is being released, and we have this old system and authority figures falling away, so you can release your natural flow, your natural energy, desires, and perhaps even enjoy life more and follow your desires. And then we have the second position, which is about the lesson that you keep. So what is staying with you as something that you learned, or as an inner wisdom that you carry forward, and also how you can integrate the lessons and the experiences of the past. And the first card that we have is the Seeing card, which is about truth and clarity and knowledge. And right next to it, we have the Avenger card, which is kind of reflecting that Mars in Aquarius energy with desire to balance the scales of justice. So again, we have this Justice card that connects with that imprisonment that we saw in the first position. So perhaps you were literally dealing with some kind of legal issues that were keeping you imprisoned, and now you are breaking through and you are avenging your life. You are showing who you are, and you are finally getting the balance and the fairness that belongs to you, that is yours to keep. And the Seeing card can reflect that finally your truth is known. Finally, people see you for who you are and recognize you. So perhaps before you were imprisoned, maybe even literally, or kept constricted. So people were not aware, or authorities were not aware, or other people involved, whoever, they were not aware what your truth is, or you were not able to express it. Perhaps even something relating to financial matters or material values. But now you are finally getting your say, and people are seeing you, and the truth is coming out, and you will be avenging any injustice that perhaps has happened in your life. And it's also about you. You are trusting yourself and getting out there, exposing yourself without fear, and you are no longer in any doubt in what you know, in what is true. And you are not afraid to use it and show it to the world. And then with that card, the Shah of Swords from the Sufi Tarot, this is in fact like a king of swords, and we see this figure lying there, watching the horizon in a very calm and restful and authoritative position, in fact. So he is a sovereign, and he's a sovereign of truth. So swords represent the mind and clarity, and with the Shah, it's you have reached to the peak. So you are now in your own calm authority, and you have learned that you can be in your own power, that you can be in your own authority, and there is no need to be suffocated or to be restricted. And perhaps even you have more power, and your truth, in fact, carries more power than you thought. So this is a kind of, so you're learning that there is nothing that you have to prove anymore. You are showing your true self, and you are showing it to some important people who are in a position of authority, and they are granting you the justice that you wanted. They are granting you the balancing of the scales, so you are avenging the unlawful imprisonment, if we call it in that way. And you are, in this way, you are learning that you have nothing more to prove anymore, and that you are your own authority, and you will also be seen and recognized as such. And then, of course, with the card clock, it's all about learning the respect for timing. So these processes may take time, especially if you have been dealing with some kind of official or legal matters. They usually take time. So trust in a gradual process, and have compassion for yourself, and just allow things to unfold naturally. Authorities and legal stuff usually takes time, so nothing can be rushed, but things will be resolved with time and patience. So just allow and respect the timing, and trust in the progress that you are receiving here. And then we have the third position, which is about what's coming. So the energy or direction or experience that is entering your life next. And first we have the Two of Wands from Botticelli Tarot, and we see this open landscape and horizon, and this beautiful figure in the wind, and like dancing in the wind. And in Botticelli's style, the body is very much alive and oriented outward. So Botticelli's figures, this is Botticelli's tarot, are known for these expressive bodies, for these fluid postures and movements that feel very perhaps like breathing or emotional movements, not necessarily muscular force. And they are oriented toward the world. So they lean or turn. So if we connect with this, with the Two of Wands, we see actually, as Botticelli was doing, he was painting transitions. He was painting inner states, and in the Two of Wands we see this desire to move, and the woman is stepping forward. So she's making, so her body is expressing her decision and the desire to step forward. So this is the desire to step beyond your limitations, to expand, to say yes towards something larger. So moving beyond what has been contained and restricted. So you are no longer waiting for permission. No need to wait for permission. Permission has been given, perhaps literally by authorities, and then also by your inner self, which in fact coincides, because when we have issues with authorities and some people in position of power who are denying us, it is in fact our inner denial that we have to recover from, or we have to overcome. And sometimes we need to struggle into external world to in fact liberate our inner rebel and our inner passion and desire. So sometimes this is why these legal restrictions or other people restricting us come into our lives, so that they wake up this passion and desire to move. And here, so what is coming in your life definitely is this red-headed girl making a step into a new direction, saying yes and choosing growth and expansion and stepping beyond limitations. And we also have the Scythe card from the Lenormand deck. We see this blade, and also we see the harvest. So this card has, in a way, two meanings. It's cutting away something, it's clean separation, but it's also harvesting from this separation, which also the diamond dreamer that we have right next to the card confirms. So you are going to cut away something and clean something. So something irreversible is happening. So there is this decisive ending and clearing of space. So this truth is coming out, and your decision to cut off whatever was draining you or taking away your energy or focus. So something is ending. And this is, in fact, extremely liberating, because this is leading toward a big harvest, and you will no longer be compromising or restricting yourself. You will just say yes and align with what fits and not with what no longer fits. And then we have this beautiful diamond dreamer, which is about material wealth and true prosperity. So this group perhaps literally had issues with money or material world or finances or just achieving some goals, concrete goals. And if this was the case, if you felt imprisoned and restricted, now the path is clearing and you are definitely getting your diamond and abundance and prosperity that is coming when everything will be cleared. It may take some time, because we had that clock card in the previous position, so be respectful to timing, but you are for sure walking toward great success and opportunities. You are receiving what is due to come to you, and you are getting into this prosperity mode, and so you are cutting away everything that was holding you back and opening to these new possibilities. And this cut makes the prosperity possible. And then interestingly, we have this poker face, taking chances and risks and not showing hand, it says. And we see, in fact, we have like the Ace of Spades on it, which is in fact a very powerful card. So in fact, this card adds to this strategy and discernment. So don't explain anything. You don't explain your moves. Just be focused and be quiet. Even it may be that people don't understand always your motives, or they don't understand your path. So don't talk to many people about what is happening. Keep your moves hidden until it is time to reveal them. So you are allowed to act quietly, and you are allowed to protect your plans and only reveal what is necessary. So there will be a certain kind of calculated risk-taking involved, and you will be able to step into this with confidence. So a new opportunity is coming, a big one, with that Two of Wands that we saw, taking a new step, and also with the poker face, we have a calculated risk. So you are going to grab this chance, and you can trust it. It will lead to this diamond, to this beautiful prosperity. So just keep your cool, be your own authority, and you can trust that you are getting out of this imprisonment, whether it be by authorities or your own self-imprisonment or both. Whatever has been is no longer valid. You're cutting it off and taking this new opportunity into your hands with maturity and confidence. And then we have the final position, which is about guidance and blessing. So it is giving you a certain indication as to how to move forward and what supports you now. And of course, very much in accordance with the rest of the reading, we have the wild rose, which goes beautifully with that Mars in Aquarius and the Avenger energy. So, and it also says, do it your way, untamed. So it is about being authentic and not apologizing for it. So you will grow, you will do whatever you choose. You will be shaped by your own nature and not by other people's expectations. So don't adapt yourself to be acceptable. Just choose what is true for you. And also, this card is very much encouraging you to step out of that prison, and also that you will be left out of the prison, whatever the prison was. This is being cut off, and you are stepping into your true nature and your true expression. And this is about being real. This is not to be special, not to be refined, not to be pleasing to others, but it's about being true and real. And then we have this beautiful full moon in Cancer, let your fears dissolve. So Cancer is all about emotional safety and protection. And it's saying that perhaps in this situation, you have encountered some deep-rooted feelings of inner child who has been hurt, who has been left out, who has been cast away, not recognized. There may be fears of rejection, of solitude, of not being protected. But now, with the full moon, all these feelings can surface so they can be released. So the guidance for you is to just feel these emotions and allow this vulnerability, and let these old emotions and fears soften, and then allow them to be washed away, and just allow the fears to be dissolved with feeling, not with suppressing them, but feeling them. And it also says, don't protect yourself with people whom you trust. So the Cancer is all about your people. You can be vulnerable in front of the people whom you trust, but show poker face to authorities or people whom you don't trust. So this is kind of a balance between being clever and smart and make smart moves and decisions, and on the other hand, integrating that with vulnerability and also facing deep-rooted fears and pain that perhaps you were not accepted in your family as a child or as a part of a community that was important to you. So all this may be coming up. Embrace these feelings, let them dissolve by feeling them, and then embrace your true self. Fight and stand for your own truth. Be the Mars in Aquarius, be the Avenger, be the Rebel. And prosperity is definitely coming to you. So I hope this resonated, and I wish you good luck.